A volume driver, as its name suggests, is a product supposed to be sold a lot in terms of volume, composed with a timeless look, a strong color depth, a strong stock depth, but also the right price, just and attractive. But American Vintage is 18 years old now, and our volume driver swings between nostalgia on one side and modernity on the other side. Thus, the volume driver is the best of American Vintage DNA, but also the footstep of its evolution. The volume driver in Jersey is mostly represented by the t-shirt. It is to note that t-shirts usually represent between 50 to 65% of sales on summer collection and 45 to 60 on winter. It's the top one family in terms of volume. First, the M-Deck, a very smooth and soft fabric, thanks to the silky and washing that's giving almost slippery kind of fabric. The fittings are fitted basic on both styles, both in short sleeve as for long sleeves. Then the MB sound, slubbed fabric, thicker but still quite light, with the same fit as the M-Deck, the basic fitted one. Finally, the M-Sun, 100% cotton brushed inside jersey, thicker and more sporty. In this family, you will find 6 SKUs, and inside is the M-Sun 25T, which is also a fitted basic, and the M-Sun 24, which is more a sweatshirt spirit with raglan sleeve, who is going to be the best sellers. Every season, we renew the offer on the fleece and propose some novelties for the volume driver that respond to the characteristics that we already introduced. For menswear, this category of fabric is the second one after the t-shirt in terms of volume of sales. Often proposed in total look, this total look of sweatshirt and jogging represent between 15 to 20 of those sales. The first fabric is definitely the one of the Ika with a mix of cotton and elastane, extremely mellow and extremely soft. On this fabric, we will insist on the sweatshirt ball and the jogging carrot to work in total look. The Muti is a cotton and modal version, in the same time more authentic and lighter than the Ika. It's work in vintage tones and will take on this range, which is quite big, the Muti 03B and the 05B, a sweet oversize, and the second one, which is a straight jogger.
The music sounds better with you. Love might bring us back together.
The menswear needs evolve season by season, and few volume drivers start to emerge. On winter, the pullover categories represent in average between 10 to 13% of sellouts. First, the M-Mark, an extremely thin and light kind of knitwear with a mix of cotton and modal. It's the perfect balance between a t-shirt and a knitwear. It's an all-season offer that proposes a straight cut, slightly fitted, with a tiny neckline, slightly open. We propose 2 new cuts this season with a turtleneck on the same fit. The iconic of the iconic knitwear is definitely the M Dan, a Milo sporty entry-range kind of fabric. We'll insist particularly on the M Dan 19A, a pullover version of our iconic M Sun 24. A sporty look with its raglan sleeves, straight and essential. The Raz is a fabric which is present in our collection for several seasons now. Which is interesting with this fabric is the composition, with more than 60% of wool and alpaca, very soft and comforting. Nevertheless, we'll note a lot of new cuts for this season, 5 in total, and also a scarf. On this family, we'll insist on the Raz 18A, which is an essential volume, slightly bully. Also, we'll insist on the turtleneck version for a full winter look. Denim is recently entered into the volume driver category. It's notably thanks to 2 different cuts of jeans and an iconic jacket that today we can talk about the volume driver in denim. The first 2 are the big carrot and the carrot for the 5 pockets and the worker jacket. Always composed with 100% cotton, the American vintage denim, it's in the same time authentic and supple. The carrot is a slightly rounded hip, an intermediary waist, and leg which is slightly cropped. The big carrot is a more cropped offer, still intermediary waist, but this time the hip is slightly more assertive, with a more retro 90s look. The new volume driver introduced last season is the straight. It proposed a cut which is straighter on all the lengths of the leg and also higher pockets.
Have a cup of my tea. All the suckers should leave, baby. I'm no sucker, I'm free. Hate's numbers to me. You send a picture, I send a picture. That's comforted me. Star gets lonely.
The worker jacket borrows the code of the workwear clothes. It also allows us to decline this offer in a new details with a new version every season. The work and web category is composed with complementary offers which are sometimes carryover, sometimes renewed. This season we'll find 2 offers that are already present for several seasons, the Empado and the M-Duck. The Empado is one of the hit fabric of American vintage for 5 seasons now. 80% of the sales on pants are made only on this reference. It's about a pant which is at the same time carrot and straight with a jogging look. Also, the oversized shirt, now iconic, comes to create a total look with this offer. The Pado proposed also retro style thanks to the corduroy, supple with a grandpa spirit. This season you will find a large range of novelties on this fabric.
Miss Hillary.
The second volume driver introduced last season is the M-Duck, and especially the shirt on the same cut as the Empado. We proposed this season this offer in flannel printed also, and accompanied with a big carrot jogging style.
When I'm overseas, your love just come over me. Tagging me viciously in a sweet way that's loving to me. Gifts, some diamond rings, a car that's nothing to me.
The pieces that you just saw represent only 20% of the entire collection, but they represent in terms of sale between 70 to 80% for this season. But mostly, they allow us, thanks to the big color range, to improve and to present to our customer a complete wardrobe with the strong inspiration of American vintage.